All right, in this video, I'm going to review how to divide with decimals because that was another issue. All right, with dividing with decimals, the first thing you need to do is if you have a decimal out here for your divisor, you need to get rid of that. Okay, so to get rid of this decimal, we have to hide it. Remember, every number has a decimal hidden behind it. So we got to move this decimal over 1 to hide it, which would make that just 5. But if we move the decimal over 1 on the outside, we have to move the decimal over 1 on the inside as well. So now this becomes 0.6.5. This decimal gets moved between the 6 and the 5. So we move the decimal over 1 here, move the decimal over 1 out here. Now we can bring our decimal straight up. And now we're just regular dividing. 5 goes into 0, 0 times. 5 goes into 6, 1 time. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract gives us 1. Bring down the 5. 5 goes into 15, 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract gives us 0. So our answer is 1.3. Okay. Now over here on B, to get rid of the decimal, we have to hide it behind the 6, which means we have to move it 2 places over. So this becomes just a 6 on the outside. Since we moved it over twice out here, we have to move it over twice inside as well. So now inside this becomes 19.2. And we can bring our decimal straight up. Okay, 6 goes into 1, no times, can't go in. 6 can go into 19 though. It can go in 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. Subtract gives me 1, bring down the 2. 6 goes into 12 twice. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract gives me 0. So my final answer for this one is 3.2. Okay, now on C, there is no decimal outside. It's already hidden, so we don't have to move the decimals at all. We can just bring our decimals straight up and divide. 3 goes into 5 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract gives me 2. Bring down my 6. 3 goes into 26. Let's see, 8 times? 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract gives me 2. Bring down my 4. 3 goes into 24. Well, we already said 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract gives me 0. So there's my final answer. So notice, no decimal out here, so we didn't have to move the decimal at all. We just brought it straight up. Okay, for D, we do have a decimal. To get rid of it, we have to hide it behind the 9, so we have to move it over 1. Since we moved it over 1 out here, we also have to move it over 1 in here. So when I rewrite this problem, it's going to be 9 now, and then 202.5. The decimal got moved between the 2 and the 5. And now I can bring my decimal straight up, and I start dividing. 9 can't go into 2, but 9 can go into 20 twice. 2 times 9 is 18. Subtract gives me 2. Bring down the 2. 9 goes into 22 twice. 18. Subtract gives me 4. Bring down my 5. 9 goes into 45 5 times. 5 times 9 is 45. Subtract gives me 0. So my answer to this one is 22.5. All right, go ahead and continue the rest on your own. But again, if you have any additional questions, please raise your hand.